Good day, footprinters. Chrissy here, along with Cameo. Firstly, I have to say, I seem to be getting every day another 10 or dozen subscribers. Thank you so much to those people who have subscribed. I've tripled my subscriptions within the last 2 weeks. And I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. Not everyone's name appears when they subscribe, but I'd like to say hello to a few people. Claire, John, Kay, Airly Bird, Diane W, Annie Mac, Tawanda, Debbie, Castadiva, Vanita, and another Christine. Look, thank you to those people and everyone else who has subscribed. I am blown away and humbled, and very pleased that you like what I do. Now somebody asked me if I can check the microphone. Hang on, I'm going to check the microphone. So yeah, I just had to stop that for a minute because my phone rang, so it's cut the recording out. Dragonfly TV, you asked me a question. What are the chances of Putin doing the dirty on Trump? So I thought I'd have a look at that, and it's going to be just like I'll do an overview on that situation, and we'll see. I'm using the Tattoo Tarot Intuition. Upside down. So I thought we'll start with that. The other thing I think I'll do is have a quick overview look at Zelensky. How does he feel about Trump? Really, with all this coming out. Does he really love Trump's ass? Yeah. So anyway, we'll look at that. But first thing, Putin. Is Putin going to betray Trump? Is Putin going to betray Donald Trump? Is Putin going to betray Donald Trump? Let's have a look. 5 of Cups. That is loss. I think he's definitely going to cause Trump some loss. This is actions on Putin's part that may cause Trump some loss. So let's have a look. So, Putin and Trump. The Knave of Coins. Page of Coins. News about moneyed opportunity. I think Putin is big with news. He's working on his plans. I think he's working on plans, and yeah, to definitely, if as soon as he feels he can't get any more out of him, I think he's definitely got plans to do that. To spread some news. Knaves or pages are also messengers. So, yeah, about finances. Yeah, best way to get Trump out of his hair is to make sure he gets kicked out of office. So, okay, current influences on Putin with regard to Trump. He's at a bit of a crossroads. He's making that decision. This is the Two of Swords, and I find these cards so elegant. I really do. So he's actually at that time where he's deciding, do I continue to prop him up or do I throw him to the wolves? So, yeah. What do you think, Cameo? Yeah? Think he's at a crossroads? Yeah? So, that's definitely that. Cameo's going to decide she's going to sit down. Okay? On the gun, what can you do with them? We'll just this a bit so the cards can be seen a bit more clearly. This is what you do when you have Bubba girls. No. Okay, what's he thinking about? What's in High Priestess? He's thinking about what is next on his agenda with regard to the United States. And of course this is and the decisions he has to make. The decisions he has to make are going to influence that agenda, because this is in current influences. So overhead, he is thinking about his agenda. He's maybe also what he has on Trump that he can, let go of. How does Trump? He's really thinking through how Trump is fitting into his agenda, because it's come to a time for him in the current influences that he has to make a decision. So how does Trump fit into his agenda now and his agenda in the future? So that's what's on his mind at the moment. The next step for Vlad. Ooh, 10 of Swords. That is not looking good for Donald. This is betrayal. Bringing something to a close in the harshest and most dastardly way. Okay. What's underneath? What's he subconsciously thinking? The world. It's constantly running through his mind subconsciously that he's come to the end of what he can get out of Trump. This whole business, it's finished. It's completed. There's nothing left more that he can get out of Trump, and that's underlying his consciousness all the time, as well. Just he doesn't bring it to mind most often because he knows it's just always in the background of his mind, but he doesn't actively think about it. He knows he's gotten all he can get out of Trump, and he's just figuring a way how to do it, how to get rid of him without upsetting his agenda. In the recent past, that's brought him to this decision. 7 of Wands. This is Trump having to defend himself over and over and over and over and over. This is sort of brought, I think Putin was hoping to get more time out of Trump, but Trump stuffing up and having to stand up and defend himself over and over and over has just hastened the situation. So this is in the recent past. And okay, so this is the immediate future for so that's in the recent past. That's what's brought about the immediate or near future actions on Trump, of Putin with regard to Trump. Down back. And then what's the next step for Putin? The Queen of Coins. First thing that popped in my mind was Tulsi Gabbard for some reason. Find someone who, in this case, I don't think it's her specifically. I think it's an example of find someone, possibly a woman who he can throw his weight behind, who will do a much better job, and looking towards a woman for that. That's possibly his next step. The other thing that's popped into my mind is, just when I was looking at that, is Ivanka. Taking down Ivanka. The first thing that popped in my mind was finding and grooming somebody else, possibly a woman. Okay, and then the second thing that popped into my mind was taking down Ivanka. So I think that could possibly represent 2 courses of action. So I'm going to do a clarifier on that. The Queen of Wands. This is Nancy Pelosi. making sure Nancy Pelosi hears things or gets certain things, finds out certain things in a way that it can be used. So I'm sure he's got lots and lots of back channels or whatever that then be fed into the proper channels and things like that. Yeah, you've got to do it without Nancy Pelosi, groom this other person without Nancy Pelosi getting wise to it, but also make sure that Nancy gets what's needed to take down maybe somebody else. I don't know. I mean, I can't see if Nancy Pelosi gets given anything on Ivanka or whatever. I think she'd just pass it on to the legal authorities, because, you know, Ivanka's, unless she does something that Congress Congress. Ten of Swords. Is Putin going to bring the whole Trump family down? Six of Cups. He's going to make sure that prosecutors and Congress look way, way, way back into this family's history and find out their ties way, way back with Russia. That's what I'm reading with regard to Vladimir Putin. So I'm just going to pause for a minute and I'm going to swap decks, and then I'm going to have a look at how is Zelensky feeling about Trump, and what, if anything, will he do about the occupant of the White House, as Kamala Harris likes to call him. Was it Kamala Harris who calls him that, or was it one of the other ones? Anyway, one of those lovely, wonderful ladies calls him the occupant of the White House. The lady from, I think she's from Massachusetts. I do apologise. It's been a while since I get the squad. So she is a member of the squad. Anya Presley, Alana Presley, something like that. Yeah, she calls him the occupant of the White House. Anyway, Druid Tech. I'm going to do a quick look at Zelensky. What does Zelensky? How's he feeling about this whole situation? So let's have a look. Being caught in it. I was watching something where one of the journalists say he had the opportunity to sit down with Zelensky when he was campaigning, or soon after he got elected, and he's very sharp. He may be new to politics, but he's very sharp. He's very knowledgeable, and he's not anybody's fool. So let's have a look and see how he feels about this whole messy situation. Zelensky. How does Zelensky feel about Trump? Three of Cups. First thing that popped to mind is he wishes that he didn't have to apply to this particular person, for the support. Not so much the US and Congress in general, but having to kowtow to this particular person for that support. These guys, this is the Sondland, Giuliani, and whoever, and Trump. Oh, yep, we did a great job. And yeah, the first thought that popped to mind is he's not happy about to ask not necessarily the US, but Trump for that support. Eight of Cups, he would just like to turn his back on Trump and go. Just stuff. And possibly, but he can't. There's too much dependent on support from the US. So he's got to let the stream flow, and he's got to turn his back on. This is what he wants to do, turn his back on Trump completely and say, be off. But he knows he can't do that. But he can turn his back on the whispers and gossip and go, and he might even end up looking around elsewhere for support, because he's not happy at all. Okay, his current influences, the Five of Cups. Yeah, he's feeling lost. I mean, when Trump was playing this game and holding up aid and support, Ukrainians died fighting the Russians. So he's feeling this loss. He really regrets that he even had to talk to this man. It's loss and regret. And mind you, Zelensky did nothing wrong. But he is put in an impossible situation, and people have died because of it, and he regrets that. And that feeling of loss and regret is influencing his thinking at the moment. So what is he thinking at the moment? Oh, he'd love to see Trump taken down. That is basically what this is. He wants Trump to get taken down. He'd love to see it. See that tower crumble. What's in his immediate future? The Princess of Wands. News about actions, and possibly news about investigations, but not the investigations that Trump is asking for, or maybe I think he might be receiving news from members of his administration and all that about who spoke to whom about what with regard to Sondland and Giuliani and whoever. I think he's gathering that news, and maybe he's preparing to send over some information. I don't know, but I get the idea that this is news he's gathering, and he might be prepared to tell, to say something. But I think he'd really like to just stay out. What's underneath it? The King of Cups. Yeah, I think subconsciously he needs to subconsciously he is just striving to bring back a sense of balance and calmness to his country, and a sense of stability to his country, and that is always on his mind unconsciously, and it does influence the way he, his actions and things like that. So this is what he's actively thinking. He wants Trump to come down. This is his unconscious and continual motivation, is bringing stability back to his country and his people. So, in the recent past, 10 of Cups. This is in this position, 10 of Cups. Families, losses to families, threats to national security. This is what, basically made him have to listen to, and he didn't end up having to acquiesce, but he had to at least listen. And this is what concern for the families in his country and everything. That's what made him have to at least listen and talk to Trump. What's his next step? Queen of Cups. Again, it's this underlying his job, the unconsciousness, wanting to bring peace, stability, and both emotional and I think more. And the next step for him is to restore that stability and sense of peace. There's a lovely sereneness about this. So the next step is to take, and I think they're going to be I think he's going to be somewhat successful in restoring a sense of peace to the country. I'm not quite sure how, but this card is so serene, and this person is taking the light into the chalice, and it's flowing through her body to me, and she's got her foot in the water, and from there it's just going to dissipate out throughout all the land. So taking emotional stability and light and returning it to his country, that is his next big priority, as well as all the usual defense and all that. But returning some emotional stability to his country too, and that's the next priority for him, aside from all the usual ones. Is he going to be a good president? Is he going to make a real change for Ukraine? 6 of Wands, yes. I just asked that question. You heard me. I asked, is he, Zelensky, going to make a real change for Ukraine? And the 6 of Wands came up, the card of victory and the card of emissary and news spreading throughout the land. Yes, he's going to do a good job for his country and hopefully make a real difference. But he's pissed, and this is like, whenever he hears Trump's names, this is what he sees in his head. Wants to see that man taken down. There's nothing subconscious about it. It just roars up there. But yeah, and he might be able to send an emissary or send a messenger with information or something, to say if you need this person to testify, we can work, or a statement or whatever. So he might be sending a messenger in the immediate future. Wow. Sending a message to Trump, maybe. He's a young man. He's new to politics, but he's not stupid. He's not weak, and he's very smart. And he may have been prepared to step back and just, not bother, too much. But I think coming out with this phone call of Trump doesn't give a shit about the Ukraine, I think that's really pissed this gentleman off, as it would. So anyway, that is my reading on will Putin do the dirty on Trump, and how Zelensky's feeling about Trump. Yeah. Anyway, footprinters, I love you all, and I will see you at the next reading. Bye-bye.